How do you feel about the new changes in Tarkov in terms of gameplay? I'm excited for it. They're finally trying to make the game what it's supposed to be, you know? Do you start getting bored playing Valorant? No, not at all. Not at all. It's a hard game to get bored of, to be honest. Very, very hard to get bored of. Thoughts on pro players being late to practice? Tons of issues in the COD community right now. I mean, usually if your team is late to a scrim or late to practice, you'll just... So how it should be, okay? So when you're a pro player and you're scrimming against other pros, it's not so much about the players that are late. It's more so the team, right? So let's say one person is always late. That doesn't make the one person look bad. It makes the whole team look bad, right? So usually if people are consistently late, like they'll kind of get not really vetoed out, but people will just stop wanting to scrim you if you're constantly late. You know what I mean? Can we speak about the lifespan of FPS? Is it in hospice? What is hospice? Hospice. Hospice. What is that? I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know what it means. What does that word mean? Am I stupid? Am I dumb? Hospice? Is that how you pronounce it? Hospice? Oh. Oh, you're saying, is it close to dying? FPS games? No. No, 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 no. Not at all. FPS games aren't even close. Games that are on the end stages of their life are RTS games. RTS games are fucking done. They're done. They don't have much left unless they kind of get revitalized through some other genre. Like RTS is done. That you're not going to see much more RTS games in the future unless they start putting RTS spins on it, right? So if you make like an RTS slash FPS, that would probably bring some love to RTS. But RTS is done. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody likes it anymore. They want to play FPS. They want to play shit FPS. FPS is like in its FPS is in its like in its high point right now. And the highest it's ever been right now in terms of players. 100% FPS is just popping the fuck off. Some people don't know what RTS is. That's my point, dude. RTS is done, man. It's done. A game that could take FPS and combine it with RTS would actually be pretty solid. It really would. This is the best example I could give you, although I don't... It's... Okay, this is the best example I could give you, but it's 95% FPS and 5% RTS. So Natural Selection is a game where you have one team of aliens and one team of humans. And you play on a big map in like a 32-player server, like 16 on 16. And then you have a commander, one single commander for each side for each match, right? So you have to like, when you join, you have to like get into the commander slot really quickly or else someone else snags it. And the commander plays this RTS game where they see the whole map and then they could ping, drop supplies, upgrades, tell the Marines and stuff where to go. And same with aliens. Like they could provide alien upgrades, ping where they should go, where they should capture. And then the people who are playing the Marines or the aliens, they're playing an FPS, essentially. And the commander's just telling them what to do. So that's obviously more FPS than RTS. But I think that's the only way RTS will stand a chance in the gaming world, right? Where RTS is more of like a kind of side mechanic. It's like it's the side hoe, you know? And then Your main hoe is your main mechanic, whether it's some sort of RPG or FPS or whatever the fuck. Seems like the lifespan of FPS games only lasts about 6 months, so how is that not dying? FPS games last 6 months. Which FPS games last 6 months? Counter-Strike has lasted almost 2 decades, or wait, 2 decades, right? Escape from Tarkov, fucking years and years and years. Valorant's gonna last another 10 years probably. Call of Duty, biggest FPS in the world. Year after year after year. I don't know. Halo, Overwatch. I don't know. I don't see your argument. FPS is the. Or I guess you're not having an argument. You're just asking. But I don't know. FPS is the genre. I feel like these questions are a troll. I don't think they're real. I don't know. An FPS is a genre that'll never die, you know? So why do games like Squad and Arma sound so good on paper but don't attract players IRL? Execution. Execution's really, really important. Arma is a very, very good game. It's just executed very poorly, you know? And first impressions are very, very big, right? So I don't think you can make a game in 2020 that would last 10 years. I think you can. Why wouldn't you be able to? What does 2020 have to do with anything? Like with a game's lifespan, I guess. When will VR get into mainstream? VR can only be mainstream if it's affordable. It's not going to be affordable for a very, very long time. So to play VR, you have to buy some sort of VR machine. The cheapest one you'll get is like what, $300, $400 or something. And then on top of that, it doesn't even matter if you can afford one of the VR machines. You got to have a computer that could even handle the VR. I think PlayStation has their VR thingy. PSVR, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. Do you have any plans to bring viewers to Mixer? You're easily one of the best FPS gamers. Yet people are stuck on watching. People are so stuck on Twitch they would rather watch a subpar gamer. I mean, there's not much I can do to change those people's minds. So no, I guess the only thing I could do is just keep going live every day, which is what I do anyway. So you ever think about consulting / developing a game? Developing would be really, really nice in the future, but I would not be confident doing it without some sort of learning, you know? Like, I've done consulting. Consulting I could do easily. I've done consulting on a lot of different games. Consulting is a very, very easy thing that I can do with no schooling, I guess, you know? I just take my experiences and all of my knowledge from just playing a lot of games, and I just apply it to whatever game I'm consulting. I love consulting. Consulting's so much fun. It's so much fun. Most of the time, they don't listen, or they can't do what seems painfully obvious. That's one thing I've noticed while doing consulting for a while. I've noticed that a lot of things that seem very painfully obvious are definitely painfully obvious, but game development is so challenging that it is not easy to be done. So, that being said, like, I respect game development a little bit more when it comes down to like a developer coming out with an update and then everybody's kind of pissed and they're in the comments being like, where the fuck is this? Where the fuck is that? I have a little bit more appreciation for the developer there because people just don't know how hard it actually is. Sometimes it's really not that hard. They just don't listen. No, I think if you think that it's them just not listening, it's the fact that they want to listen. there's just somebody else behind the scenes that is controlling the show. And those people are the people you should be mad at. You should never really be mad at the people that are developing the game, right? Because any good game developer listens. You know, they listen and they try their best, but sometimes they just can't do shit. It's not, they don't have the power, you know? They just don't. All it takes is like one person to be like, nah. And then they're like, all right, can't do it, I guess. Like think of like one person that's in a much higher position than you at a company. You know, whether that's like some sort of management job or whatever. A lot of those people control it, right? So if game developers are working their ass off and they're like, hey, we should do this. And then that one person goes, no, I think you should go on the path that you're currently on. Then the game developers are like, all right, I guess we'll just continue down this path. Why don't they have the power to do what's right? Well, it's a chain of command, you know? You just have to hope that whoever's managing and kind of running the show knows what they're doing, right? How's Loba? Loba looks completely different. I literally don't know anything about Loba because when I played Loba for Apex, that was so early in development that I'm pretty sure all of the ideas they had were scrapped. Because I watched that Loba video or the Loba trailer or whatever the fuck it was, and I just, everything that I tested, I think got scrapped, which is good because she was terrible. It's a good thing. That means they listened. That truly means they listened. She was terrible, but from the trailer that they have, it looks like that those ideas were kind of scrapped for the most part, and she's gonna be good, hopefully. A lot of shooters have this stupid fucking mechanic, and most of them haven't changed it, and most new games also have this mechanic. And I understand why it's there. I was told from a development standpoint why this feature exists, right? But I hate the mechanic of when you're low on HP, your audio starts to muffle, your screen starts to dim. I hate it. I hate it so much. It happens in Siege. It happens in fucking it happens in Call of Duty. That's a really big mechanic that people have in shooters, and it's so fucking stupid. I get why they have it, but I hate it. There's a couple things in FPS game development that kind of irritate me. It just depends on, like, the most important thing about game development is having your developers have a very clear goal and vision in mind, right? And then when they do something that counteracts that, it confuses the hell out of me because that was their, you know, they had this plan and they made a very obvious change to it, right? A good example is this. Okay, we can use Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege strives itself to be a competitive tactical shooter, right? Competitive. But then they do so many little things that are so unnecessary that people don't notice or care for, except for just ruining competitive integrity, right? This is the tiniest detail ever. But the point of me saying this is that the tiny little details stack. So in Rainbow Six Siege, if you reload on 0 bullets or 1 bullet, the reload time is different. And yes, I know why. Okay, I get it. Real gun, bullet in the chamber. I don't give a fuck. It's a competitive game, right? The reload time of a weapon should be the exact same no matter the situation. No matter, right? So that's just a little teeny tiny detail. But that's what I just get really... That's what confuses me in game development. When they're trying to make something competitive and then they add something like that, right? Same goes for when you're low on HP. You're low on HP, your screen and your audio's gone. Stupid, right? So those little things just keep piling on. You ever check your DMs on Twitter / Instagram? Twitter, yeah. Instagram, no. I don't check Instagram DMs. The difference between reloading on 1 bullet and 0 bullets, and then changing your reload time to maybe reloading in 2 seconds, and now it's going to reload to 3 seconds. That just creates an inconsistency of crucial moments, right? It's an unnecessary feature. Because if you want to think of it as a perspective of like, why is it even there in the first place? I don't fucking know, you know? That's the thing that throws me off, because the features like that, they don't even have they don't really even have a purpose. They're just there because I think somebody in the company was just like, hey, let's fucking do this. This is going to be my personal project for the next 6 months. I'm going to make it work like this.